In this video, you will see how to create an air skimmer. We're going to begin by working on the main body panel. Before we begin, you need to make sure you have chosen whether or not you're going to use the metric or standard measurement systems. You should choose which one you're the most comfortable with. If you're going to choose the metric system, which is the system I'm going to use, you will need to look at your blueprints and make sure that you have converted the millimeters to the centimeters, because we are going to use centimeters in this video. Also, you need to make sure that you're going to use a pencil, and when you use that pencil, make sure you use light pencil lines. That way they're easy to erase if you make a mistake. Now for the main body panel, we're going to put the main body panel in the top left corner using the factory edge on this paper, like we did when we worked on the perfect square and perfect rectangle project in the last class. So to begin with, I noticed that the length of the main body panel is 28 centimeters across. So I'm going to measure from this corner over 28 centimeters. I'm just going to mark it. I'm using pen, that way you can see it better in this video. Pencil can be kind of difficult to see sometimes. Now that I've measured 28 centimeters across, if I look at the blueprint, I'll notice that it is 10 centimeters in height. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it 10 centimeters. And from this mark, I need to measure over 28 centimeters as well. So now I have a length of 28 centimeters, 10 centimeters, 28 centimeters, and I need to measure down 10 centimeters just to make sure that this will be a perfect rectangle when we're done. And as you can see, it is just a little bit off. Next, I'm going to place my pen where these two lines intersect. I'm going to use this vertex and the other point I drew. I'm going to connect the two using the ruler so I've got a straight line. Same thing here. I'm going to place my pen where the vertex is, line it up down here with the ruler, use the ruler to create a straight line. Next, you'll notice that there's a dotted line that runs along the top and the bottom of the rectangle that will turn solid towards the left end of this. To begin with, I'm going to make the dotted line go all the way across. Looking at the blueprint, you'll notice it is 1.2 centimeters. So I'm going to measure 1.2 centimeters here at this end. Then I'll measure 1.2 centimeters at this end as well. That way I know that line runs parallel with the top edge of the paper. I'll place my ruler so that the 2 points are on the edge of the ruler, and I'm going to create a dotted line all the way across. Try to be sure your ruler doesn't move. Sometimes that can be somewhat difficult with this step. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same thing from the bottom. Again, it's 1.2 centimeters, so I'm going to mark it on the left end as well as on the right end. And then again with the dotted line. Again, doing the best I can do to make sure the ruler doesn't move. And there's the two dotted lines. We have one more line to add, and that's going to be another dotted line between these two dotted lines right here. And that dotted line is 7.5 centimeters from this edge. So 7.5. I'm going to mark it at the top and the bottom so I can make sure that this line that we're going to put here will run parallel with the edge of this paper. Okay. Then the final step is going to be to make sure that these lines are solid. Because in the directions you read, if you remember correctly, we're going to cut on the solid lines and fold on the dotted lines. So it does make a difference. In order to make these lines solid, all I'm doing is placing my ruler right next to the dotted line and just going over with my pen again. Okay. So your main body panel will look like that. If you would like to label it once you're finished, that might be a good idea. So main body panel. And this concludes the video for the main body panel.